Check out that high gloss. We shot some Imron black today on the front fender wells. Prepped them, got them the last bit of detail work done, shot it with that urethane, and then guess what else it did? I also went round 2 on an ivory to see if it goes with that pull me over red, see if it matches that 57 ivory in my interior. Maybe, I don't know, you gotta see it. So if you're interested in seeing how I got all this done this weekend, stay tuned. All right, it's been many weeks. I've been threatening it. You've been waiting for it. Well, here we are. Today is the day we start painting. We're not going to paint the red and ivory just yet, but this is the first step. I need to get all of my under hood fender well components out of this garage, and right now they're primed. They're almost finished. We're going to spray those with an Imron gloss black. We're going to do that today. But the other thing that I'm going to do is, as you know from my previous episode, 2 episodes back, I was trying to get the red and the ivory color just right for Christine, and the red was right, but the ivory was just not. So I had an epiphany, and I think I've solved the riddle, but we're going to shoot that sample too. I don't know if it's exactly it, but I think we got it, so that's what we're going to do today. Let's get started. All right, so let's start out with this red and white dilemma. So, as you know, Christine, 56 Bel Air, the 56 Bel Air was indeed available in Matador red and an ivory white. Christine was not. Christine was a 2-tone green. It was Sherwood green, and I forget what else, but it was never green when I had her. I bought her almost 20 years ago now, and she's always been red and white to me. So that's the color that she's always been. That's the only color that we're gonna put on her, so it's red and white it is. But I'm not a big fan of the Matador red, so I decided to go with a brighter color because she was always brighter than that. And I landed on a very modern color. It's been out for the last 10 years. It's GM Pull Me Over Red. And I shot a sample of it right here, and it looks good. This looks good against my interior. I ordered my interior from Ciadella Interiors, and it's in torch red. And here's the kicker. Here's a spoiler alert. It's 1957 Chevrolet Ivory. So think about that for a minute, because I was painting last week or 2 weeks ago, and I was painting for an ivory color, and I picked a neutral white, and that's the white that I picked out of a color book, a chart, and I tried a sample, and I put it up against the interior, and it does not look good. So let me show you that. So here's my interior rear panel. And this was done in a torch red and 1957 ivory. So it's in the garage here. You can see it outside. It's a little brighter. It depends on the light, how you catch it. But this is made by Ciadella Interiors. And the red that I've got, I know on the camera it looks like it's more orange on the interior, but the truth of the matter is it's just a less saturated color on the interior than it is on the paint, and I'm fine with that. That's okay. It's not a perfect match, but the tint is in the same direction. It's just the paint is more rich. So when I did that with the white, here's what I ended up with. That just does not blend well. This ivory, this 57 ivory, you look at it here, and now that I've showed you what white looks like, that looks gray. So I was struggling with what to do with the white and how to find a white, so here was the clue. On my Ciadella box, it says, torch red and 57 ivory. So I realized, well, if this vinyl is 1957 ivory, then what is the ivory white from 1957? Duh. It turns out, okay, from maybe 1955 or 1956 on through a handful of years, it was available the same color many years, India Ivory. So I said, well, maybe that's the color coordinating ivory that I need. So I called up my buddy that at my paint supply shop, Mike and Jerry's. I called up Jack and I said, dude, look, help a brother out here. Help me figure this out. So what I did was I said, you know, do you have the color? Do you have the color combination? Do you have the color code? And he says, well, we got a way to sort of match it. This is not an exact match. It's not a 0, but it's a 0.7, which is really, really close. So I said, well, let's mix it up. So they mixed me up a sample, and I've got that sample now. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and blend it up. I'm going to go back to this panel and I'm going to shoot it. But I got my fingers crossed. I've opened the can. Looks like it's going to work. So let's see. So let's see what we come up with here. So the first, the original white that I picked looks like this, and the new 57 ivory, I say 57 only because it's the 57 vinyl that I have on, but this is India Ivory, and that's what it looks like. They don't look drastically different, but let me spray it, and I'm telling you, this is going to be a big difference. That's the original ivory that I painted, and I've got the tiniest of amounts in my detail gun. So I'm going to spray a couple of coats of this on it and let it sit. And I'm told you can lay this down heavy. All right, let's take a look at our panel. That's the ivory. Let's pull it off. I left a little bit of the original ivory so we can see what it looks like in comparison. So there may be, I'm not quite sure if this is going to be exact, but we're going to give it a shot. Well, I mean, I just put my fingers right in it. Well, there's what it looks like by itself against the red, which is looking really good. So I'll tell you what, let me bring the panel next to it. There we go. Huh. Look at that. Look at that. Look at that difference. Subtle. It is so subtle. Now, I did sand this down. I sanded the whole thing, so this is dulled. But there's the gloss. And I didn't really do a whole lot to prep this panel, but you know, you tell me, what do you think about those two colors? You know, this one, that's a bright white I had last time, and this is the 57 India Ivory. Bring it against the panel. I think we're getting there, man. That is like, if I hold that 6 inches away, you can't tell the difference between these two colors, but if I put them right on top of one another, you can. We're going to bring this out into the sun. So you are, let's see if I can stay out of the shade. There you go. So there's the ivory, and when you look at it out in the sun, that looks white. And there's that bright torch red. Beautiful. And now here's my red. That's my GM Pull Me Over red. There's the new 57 ivory and the old color white that I had. I think we got it. Bang. There it is. Wow, that's gonna look awesome. I'm gonna love it. Love it, love it. That's awesome. All right, now let's turn our attention to the inner wheel wells. So these are the two skirts that go behind the inner wheel well. There's the inner wheel well for one side, inner wheel well for the other side. I'm going to paint all of these Imron black. I'm going to do some touch up to them. You know, they got a lot of crinkles in them already. You know, they've got a lot of shape to them. So this is not going to be, there's so many curves to this that it can have a few little flaws and dimples, and that's okay by me. You know, as long as I got it, for the most part, pretty close. I'm not going to strive for perfection, but I'm going to go ahead and do a little bit of last minute prep work on these 4 parts. We're going to sand them down. I'm going to do a little bit of spot putty on them, a little bit of glazing compound, and make sure I've got everything prepped, and then we'll go ahead and shoot it with some Imron. All right, I got all the pieces prepped, ready to go. There you go. Just 2 skirts, 2 wheel wells. I've got them all sanded. So everything you just saw, I sanded them down with 180 and 320. And then when I was doing filler, I dropped back to 80 grit and then went back to 180 and 320. But now everything's been wiped down with a degreaser. So it's all ready to go. I don't have it fully, like, these are not prepped the way I would prep the body, of course. I mean, you saw, I really got through this pretty quickly. You know, this is a skirt that the tire, road grime is hitting this. One half of this is like even buried, so you can't even see it. And the other half's getting hit by road grime. So, none of this is really, this is not going to be your show quality stuff, but I mean, this is all the business side of things. So we just want to get them looking good. One thing was, over time, I did some body work on this. I had to do a lot of hammer and dolly on this, and then I put some filler material on it. You can see as I sanded through my primer, and you can see some of the filler. But that was, I wanted to get this side looking good. The other side's buried underneath the fender, so all the denting is kind of pushed that way, and that way this side kind of fared out pretty flat. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to go ahead and mix up the paint, put on the respirator, and we're going to go ahead and throw down some color. It's black, but it's still color. Let's get it done. So this is Dupont Imron 3.5 HG Plus. The 3.5 has to do with the VOCs. I don't know the science behind the number, but it's 3.5 pounds something, something, something. And the HG is high gloss, and this is a polyurethane. You can see it is black as night. This is going to be mixed with an Imron 9T00-A, and it's mixed to a 4-to-1 ratio. I've got my mixing cup. So I don't know how much this is going to take, but I don't want to waste my material, so I'm just going to go up to the 3 mark on my 4-to-1. I'm going to go to the 3 mark and then the 3 mark, and I probably will reduce it. And there's no induction time, which some of these products you have to let them start their reaction in the pot. So that's not the case with this. It says it's 0 induction time, so you don't have to wait to start spraying with it. Sometimes you have to let them rest. Not the case here. So now just cracking open. This is the first I've cracked open this bottle. And so where was that? 3. Now I got to go to the 1 over here. There we go. All right. I am pretty sure I need to reduce that. I've got a little bit of reducer here. I'm going to go ahead and just cut that a little bit. Not a lot, but a little. Probably enough right there. And I have to stir that, put it in my gun, and let's spray it.
Missed it by that much. Oh man, just that. No. All right, that'll get on round 2. What I'll do is I'll shoot that first, then put a second coat on everything else, and then this will be the last thing I do. Here comes the coat 2 after this flashes. All right. We got it. Another pot, I mixed up a little bit more because I got to do this twice. So I was short the last time. I need to have a little bit more, but it's probably too much because this covers amazingly in one coat. So I'm going to start with this. And yeah, so here we go. Well, that's that. Here we go back to hyperlapse. Go back to real time. You can watch me spray this last one. You having fun? I know I am. Oh man, this is awesome. Is that a good view? How about this? Let's see. There you can see. All right. Well, unfortunately, apparently my phone died. Oh man, I was just spraying that last little bit, and I moved the camera, and you just missed it. Sorry. But I discovered a couple of things. Usually modern paints don't have too much overspray that you have to worry about, and I got a little bit on some things that were pretty close to me. But the one thing that I didn't realize was that my respirator, I have a beard now. So my respirator failed. I was smelling fumes, and it's like when I took it off, I had black around here and I had black around here. So apparently my respirator, it failed. It didn't hold the seal on my face. So I'm gonna have to look into something different from now on. I'll have to look into that. But anyway, let's take a look at it and see how it come out. You know what I mean? Look at that shine. Is that not crazy? That's ridiculous. Man, if the top coat, the red and white, if the red and the ivory have a gloss like that, holy cow. That's ridiculous. I mean, whoo. It's this is inside, And that was where I did some body work. I was afraid of this being flat, with that high gloss. But man, look at it. Shoot, Now look, you can tell. See, it's got a little bit of wave in it. This doesn't have to be super flat. This isn't like a quarter panel, It's got these ribs. So you don't have to spend all that time decking all this and getting this flat. But if that was on a quarter panel, that would look horrible. On this wheel well, though, man, it looks amazing. They just look great. So, there you have it. All right. That's going to do it. We got some high gloss black Imron thrown on the fender wells. We got our ivory picked out. Our red was picked out previously. Now we got both colors ready to go. Just need to pick up materials, get this garage in shape to paint, and we're going to be throwing some color on Christine next. So I can't wait. So tell you what, if you enjoying the videos, please give them a thumbs up, and if you're enjoying the channel, I'd love a subscription. Until I see you next time, please take care of yourself. Cheers.